Hi everyone, Jay Cormier here from Off the Page Games. This is how to start a board game company. Now, this week I'm going to give you an update of things that I've been doing in the last week or two, as well as some lessons learned, least of which is do not be underneath a child who is in their crib with something heavy for fear that they might drop it onto your head. So that's a lesson I learned. But let's go through some of the details, and there were some key lessons I learned. I'm going to start with print and play. So if you're watching a few of these videos, you know that I've been sent out, uploaded all my files to get the board games made for my samples that I can then ship out to my reviewers that are going to review the game. We talked about that last week or 2 weeks ago. And I was just under some misunderstandings, and let me show you what I thought, and let's talk about that. So this is the print and play site, and they have this 48-hour processing turnaround time, which sounds really awesome. 95% of all standard orders will be printed and shipped in 2 business days of receiving your order. I'm like, that's great. Now, I didn't fully read all of this, but because I missed this part, which is still fine. Orders over $500, which mine will take longer, and it'll be an extra day of processing time for every additional $250. The challenge for me was that they took way longer than that, and I didn't realize how long this would take, and that they still haven't shipped it, and I sent it to them on November 17th. So I don't mean to be calling them out or throwing them under the bus. It's not what I'm trying to say. It's maybe not setting expectations, or I'm not sure. But that's been a really frustrating part for me. There has been some back and forth, and that's delayed it because I did pay for a digital proof, which I knew added a day, but I'm glad I did because we caught 2 things that were really good that we caught. So there was some back and forth, and so some of that's on me, but I'm just like dying to like get these, because then there's still the shipping time on top of that. Like that's issue number 1. Now, the other thing I didn't know about Print and Play or Ad Magic is that they can ship the sample games individually to the reviewers directly. I'm like, oh, that would save so much time. I was so excited to hear this. I'm like, oh my gosh, that'll be great. Yes. And then I'm like, wait, no. I did not know that was an option. So here's, hopefully if you're watching this in advanced time, this is a good point to learn. Try to make your game such that you can do this. I didn't know this was an option at all. So there's a few things that I have to do on my end. For example, because I have secret envelopes, I have to manually package those for the 15 samples I bought, because I don't want them just loose in the box for the reviewers. That won't be a good experience. Plus, I'm getting a little comic book made, and I probably could have contacted them, and they probably could have custom made something, but there was nothing online that looked like what I needed to have printed. So I'm like, I'll just print that myself here. So that was silly, and I don't know how we would have solved the secret envelope thing anyways. But again, I guess I could have contacted them, but I just was so much in a rush, thinking that, oh, in 2 days they got to get shipped out, so I need the games here, and now I still don't have them, so I probably could have contacted them. So that was frustrating. So now we have to ship them all the way to me, cross the border into Canada. Then I got to ship them all the way back out and pay way more to ship to individual reviewers all around the world, crossing many borders. So there's some lessons learned for everyone, for me at the very least. Okay, what else is happening? PAX Unplugged is happening right now as I'm recording this. And we have an ambassador there, Stephen Loomis, who is running some demos of the game. And he sent a picture, posted a picture on the PAX Unplugged Facebook group. And they're playing the game like literally right now as I'm talking, not as you're watching this, but as I'm talking. And they're actually playing the full game, because you have the ability to play the training mission, which is 20 minutes, half hour. And then you can play the full game if you want. And so they're obviously playing the full game, which is super exciting. And it's kind of all grainy here, but you can see they're playing with all the new art. They got the new screen and the board, and all the cards are all the new art. You really can't see it here, but I can show you. These are pictures of the samples from Print and Play. So they sent this as the digital proof. So here's the box, for example, which looks really cool. I like how it looks like the corners are all kind of bent in. And this is the back of the box. This won't be the back of the box for the final game. This was minimal effort for Matt to make, because he actually had this done and just changed the board to our board. because this was actually on the back of a mind management comic book. And so he took that image of his and repurposed it for our game, as if these kids are playing fun for the entire family. And then he repurposed some text, and it's really funny. So anyways, I think that'll be a hoot for reviewers to look at that. But that won't be the official back of the box. That's just a fun one. And there's the board all printed out, which looks really, really striking. I don't think the color balance is perfect. It should be a little bit more muted than this, I think. But it's still really cool looking. This is a whole bunch of stuff. There's the screen. The screen will be a thicker quality of this in the final, but for the prototype sample, this is what we're getting. And the art is amazing. And here's just a whole random sampling of cards. And this was what I was talking about getting a digital proof. One of my files was off, and so the back border was down a bit, which would have been terrible because it would have been obvious which recruitment card you had. These are all these ones are for the recruitment cards. I'm like, oh my gosh! So I'm so glad we caught that. But yeah, you can see this is all the finished art, and just a sneak peek, so you're not even seeing the full things. But that's pretty cool, and a bunch of the tokens, the immortals and the characters, and some of the step tokens and the marker and all this kind of stuff. Pretty exciting. So that's been going on. In addition to that, we've had my website. Let me show you this one. I've updated my website. Now I have some more requests to update. So my web designer, I gave him some images, and we're kind of like working in tandem. Like I'm giving him ideas and he's putting up ideas. But I gave him this image here in the background, which kind of is a montage. No, not a montage. A collage of all the games I've designed, which isn't appropriate for my front page of my site, because it almost implies that me as Off the Page Games published all these games. This was meant to be for the contact page of like, who's Jay Cormier, and he's designed all these games, kind of thing. So that's getting changed out. We have a sign up for an email, a schedule. Hey, there's a My Manager demo. Hey, it's happening right now. And then a Twitter feed. This is all kind of basic right now, just to get something up. So I kind of think I want the Twitter feed up more. I don't know, off to the side. I don't know. Let me know if you have any ideas on a better layout for this. But this is functional. I just don't like. I'd rather have things more up here and taking advantage of this space. But the advantage of this, I think, is that when you close it, when you have different size windows, this scales nice. That's the benefit, because you don't know how on a phone or whatever this scales pretty nice. So that's kind of cool. Then on the games page, currently, obviously, we only have the one game, so it's just front and center. Here's Mind Management. And here is a little bit of a tour. You can't really tell that that's a gallery, so I asked him if there's any way to make sure that we know this is a gallery. And these are actually cards in the game. This is super wild. These are functional cards. Like, they don't look like they're cards, but these are cards in the game. I can't wait to explain why these are cards. Isn't this wild? I love this. Always watching you. You guys are going to love this game. This is great. And then up here, then we have videos. And this pretty much is just a collection of all of the How to Start a Board Game company videos. There's 5 pages of it, so you can go back and watch any of those. And then a contact page where it says who I am, plus ways to get a contact with me. So that's kind of cool. And then the other thing I'm working on is I'm starting to do some marketing. So check this out. So this is the card right here for Bill, one of the characters. And so we wanted to kind of do a meet the agents kind of a thing. So this will be like used for social media, where it's like, here's a little bit about who Bill is, and here's his picture and his card, and even another image of Bill from a different part of the game. So that's kind of cool. And we did one of these. I did one of these for each of the characters. So meet Henry, and meet Maru, and meet Dusty. That's pretty cool. And then Eagle Eyes might notice that there's some coded type thing up here that you might have fun trying to figure out what that means. And the other thing I've been working on is writing the script for the Kickstarter video. I've requested all of the PSD, the Photoshop files from Matt, the artist, in with all the layers, because we're doing like an animated video for the Kickstarter. So the first script was very generic and very specific about what's happening in the game. Then we gave it to Matt, and he punched it up a lot. And sorry, Sorry guys, there we go. And he punched it up and added some really cool subliminal glitches and stuff like that to make it very Mind MGMT. But what are your thoughts, for those that are watching this far into the video, about Kickstarter videos? Personally, I'm not a big fan of the world building videos, like spending 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute about the world that we're in. I'm like, I personally, I don't care about that in the video. In the video, I really want it. All I want to know is what's the game like? How does it play? What's it about? What do you do? And yeah, you could put theme and world buildingness stuff in that, but I want to know how it plays. So I really focused on that. Like really, it's telling you in the script, one player takes a role of mind management, and then I add some theme in here: a shadow organization that uses highly unconventional trained psychic agents to influence world events. The other players team up as a role game. So that's a little bit about the world building, teeny bit, but then they're talking about how they move and how you win and all this kind of stuff. So personally, I'm leaning more towards tell me what you can do and what are the mechanics and what makes this game unique. And in less than a minute and a half is the goal. And this currently is doing that. So this is less than 90 seconds. But let me know what your thoughts are. Do you prefer a world building video? I don't know I really don't know who does. So many Kickstarter videos aren't even watched by people. But if you don't have one, then you're going to fail for sure. I'm not going to fail for sure, but it's like, it shows that you're serious if you have one. So you kind of got to have one. So you have to have one. So, but let me know your thoughts on what kind of Kickstarter video you want to see, or even for this specific game, what you would like to see, how much world building versus how much tell me about the game and the mechanics, which I know you'll get later on in other videos down below, and we'll have some playthroughs and all those kind of videos. But what do you want to know in the Kickstarter video itself? How much of the mechanics and how you play and components moving around do you want to see? My kind of gold standard is the Burnt Island games. They did a game that I designed called Hollow Mountain King, and I thought that video was amazing. But they did Endeavor, and they also are the same company that owns Kids Table Board Game, and they did Fossilis. I don't know, pronounce that Fossilis. And I love their videos a lot. Animated really well and explaining how the game works and the benefits anyways. So that's what I've been up to. Just a lot of stuff. And I'm hoping by next week, I can't imagine I'll have the games by next week because the shipping's going to take a while. But man, now I thought I was kind of ahead of the game by I thought I'd have the games out to people within 3 months before the Kickstarter started. But now it's going to be tight to get it out 2 months beforehand, which is still fine, and that's what most people want at the maximum anyways. I was trying to be ahead of schedule, and boy, it's always good to pad your schedule. Always, whatever you think it is, just add some time. That's a big lesson that I learned, even with a fail faster. I just randomly added a month to the shipping schedule, just like it should be here in September, but I'm like, well, I'll put October because why not, right? Nobody's going to be like, why is it coming in October? It should be in September. Like, no one would know or care about that. And so I did, and you know what? It came in October. So I'm glad I did, because there's always things that are not in your control. So that's it for me for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.